Before I start the story, comment where you're listening from. I'm curious. Here is a quick preview for the story. A single forgotten phone turns a Chicago rideshare driver's life into a waking nightmare. When Andrew checks the device to find its owner, he discovers dozens of videos of himself sleeping, showering, and living, all filmed from inside his apartment. Now he must uncover which passenger has been secretly watching him before they decide it's time for more than just surveillance. If you enjoy the story, please like the video and subscribe to my channel Nightmare Archives. Andrew Fielding squinted at his phone's brightness, the blue light harsh against the darkness of his car. 3:47 in the morning, almost done with his shift. The streets of Chicago were finally emptying, with only the occasional group of late-night revelers or early morning workers requesting rides. His eyelids felt heavy, but the promise of his bed kept him going for these last few fares. The ride request notification pierced the quiet. Lincoln Park to Wicker Park, a decent fare to end the night. Andrew tapped accept and pulled away from the curb, yawning as he followed the GPS directions. His passenger was waiting outside a darkened brownstone. A slender figure in a black hoodie pulled low over their face. They slid into the back seat without a word, and Andrew caught a glimpse of pale skin and dark eyes in his rearview mirror before returning his attention to the road. "Heading to North Avenue, right?" Andrew asked, trying to cut through the awkward silence. The passenger nodded, not looking up from their phone. Andrew gave up on conversation after that, letting Chicago's empty streets pass by in silence. The gentle hum of tires against asphalt was the only sound as they crossed through the sleeping city. When they reached the destination, another nondescript apartment building, the passenger exited without a word, and Andrew marked the ride complete. He was about to pull away when he noticed a phone on the back seat. He sighed, reaching back to grab it. The screen lit up as he touched it, no passcode required. Andrew called out, but the passenger had already disappeared inside. He debated for a moment, then decided to check the phone for contact information. He could message someone, let them know their friend had left their phone behind. The phone opened directly to a video gallery. Andrew's thumb hovered over the screen, hesitating. This felt invasive, but how else could he return it? Maybe there was an emergency contact or some identifying information. He scrolled through the recently opened files, looking for anything with a name. His blood turned to ice as he saw the thumbnail of the most recent video as him, Andrew, in his bedroom. With trembling fingers, he tapped the video. The footage showed him sleeping in his own bed, the camera angle from somewhere near his dresser. The timestamp showed it was from just 2 nights ago. His breath caught in his throat as he swiped to the next video. Another angle of his apartment, this one from his living room, showing him eating dinner alone at his small table. The next showed him in the shower, the steam obscuring the worst of the invasion but leaving no doubt about what he was seeing. Dozens of videos, all of him, all in his home. Andrew's heart hammered against his ribs as he looked up at the apartment building where his passenger had disappeared. The weight of being watched, of being violated in such an intimate way, crushed down on him. His sanctuary had been compromised, his privacy shattered. He fumbled for his own phone, hands shaking so badly he could barely dial police. He needed to call the police. A text message alert chimed on the stranger's phone before he could complete the call. Andrew looked down, his finger hovering over the 9 button on his own device. "Like what you see, Andrew. I've been watching you for weeks. Don't bother with the police. I'll be gone before they arrive. But I'm never really gone, am I?" Andrew dropped the phone like it had burned him. Then, forcing himself to breathe, he picked it up again. He needed evidence. This was his only connection to whoever had been watching him. He took screenshots of the text message, then forwarded the videos to his own number. As the files transferred, another text message appeared. "Smart, gathering evidence. But you should be asking yourself how I got in. Who has keys to your apartment, Andrew? Who do you trust?" A cold sweat broke out across his forehead. His roommate Devin had moved out 3 months ago. The landlord had keys, the maintenance guy. His sister, for emergencies. His ex, Tara, had he ever gotten the key back from her after the breakup 6 months ago? The phone chimed again with another message. "You gave me the keys yourself, Andrew. You just don't remember doing it." But he threw the phone onto the passenger seat and peeled away from the curb, his mind racing. Home wasn't safe. Nowhere felt safe. He drove aimlessly through the Perdon streets, checking his rearview mirror every few seconds. Convinced he was being followed, eventually logic prevailed over panic. He needed help. Andrew pulled over and called his sister. "My Andrew, It's 4 in the morning, she answered, her voice thick with sleep. I need to come over. Now? I can't explain on the phone. His voice cracked. 20 minutes later, he was sitting at Maya's kitchen table, the stranger's phone placed between them like a bomb that might detonate at any moment. Maya's expression grew increasingly horrified as Andra showed her the videos and messages. You need to go to the police, she said firmly. And tell them what? That someone has been filming me in my home for weeks, and I have no idea who it is or how they got in. Andra ran his hands over his face. I don't even know if this person is a man or woman. All I know is they were in my car tonight. Did you get a name from the app? A credit card? The ride was paid for with a prepaid card. The name on the account was J. Smith. Andra laughed bitterly. Real original, bah. Maya frowned, thinking, let me see the phone again. She studied it carefully, navigating through the settings. This is weird. There are no personal accounts set up. No email, no social media. It's like it was bought just for... She trailed off, not wanting to finish the thought. Just for stalking me, Andra finished for her. As they sat in silence, the phone lit up with another message. Maya's apartment isn't safe either, Andra. I can see you both right now. They both jumped to their feet, Maya rushing to close the blinds while Andra checked the locks on the doors and windows. The apartment was secure, but the message had achieved its intended effect. Nowhere felt safe now. We're going to the police, Maya said, grabbing her keys. Right now. At the station, they were directed to a detective who specialized in harassment cases. Detective Rise was a middle-aged woman with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. She listened to Andra's story without interruption, examined the phone, and took detailed notes. The phone's a burner, she confirmed after running the serial number. Purchased with cash at a convenience store downtown 3 weeks ago. No cameras in the store. She looked up at Andra. You have no idea who might want to do this to you. Andra shook his head. I drive for a living. I meet dozens of people every day, but I can't think of anyone who would... He gestured helplessly at the phone. What about ex-partners? Anyone you've rejected recently? Passengers who might have taken a special interest in you? Andra thought about it. There was one woman a few weeks ago. She kept trying to get me to come up to her apartment after I drove her home. When I refused, she got angry, said I'd regret it. He shrugged. But that happens sometimes in this job. People get drunk, they get inappropriate. Detective Reyes made a note. Name. I don't remember. The ride would be in my history, though. While they waited for Andra to pull up his ride history, Detective Reyes continued. We'll have officers check your apartment, look for hidden cameras or signs of entry. In the meantime, you shouldn't stay there. Andra nodded numbly. The violation felt complete now, his home no longer a refuge but a crime scene. Here, he said, finding the ride in Quez. Cassandra Winters. 3 weeks ago. Detective Reyes wrote it down. We'll look into her. Anyone else who might have access to your apartment. Former roommates. Maintenance workers who've been by recently. My ex-roommate Devin moved out a few months ago, but we're still friends. My ex-girlfriend Tara, though I thought we ended things amicably. My landlord, obviously. There was a plumber who came by last month for a leaky faucet. We'll need all their names, Ray said, as they finished providing the information. An officer arrived to escort Andrew back to his apartment to check for cameras. Maya insisted on coming along, refusing to let her brother face this alone. The search of Andrew's apartment was thorough and horrifying. 6 tiny cameras were discovered, in his bedroom, bathroom, living room, and even inside the refrigerator. The invasion was complete and methodical. Each camera was wirelessly connected to an external server, streaming his private life to unknown eyes. The professional equipment, the tech officer said, bagging one of the devices. Not something an amateur would have access to, but Andrew felt sick. How long have they been there? Based on the dust patterns, I'd say about a month for most of them. A month. 4 weeks of his life exposed. Andrew sat heavily on his couch, then immediately stood again, unable to feel comfortable in his own home. Pack some clothes, Maya said gently. You're staying with me until this is sorted out. Over the next few days, Andrew existed in a fog of paranoia and violated privacy. He took leave from driving, unable to face the possibility of encountering his stalker again. He jumped at every notification on his phone, fearing another message from the unknown watcher. 3 days after filing the police report, Detective Reyes called. We may have a lead, she said. Cassandra Winters has a record. 2 previous harassment complaints and a restraining order filed against her by a former colleague. But more interestingly, she works for a security company that installs surveillance systems. That's her then, Andrew said, relief and fear mingling in his voice. We're bringing her in for questioning. In the meantime, we've been monitoring the IP addresses connecting to those cameras in your apartment. Someone accessed the feed this morning from a coffee shop in Lincoln Park. Are you going to arrest them? We're sending officers now. I'll call you when we know more. The call came 4 hours later. Cassandra Winters had been arrested at the coffee shop, caught actively monitoring the cameras in Andrew's now empty apartment. She's not talking yet, Detective Reyes explained, but we found some concerning evidence on her laptop. It appears you weren't her only target. There were surveillance folders for 3 other rideshare drivers. Andrew closed his eyes, trying to process this information. Why? Why would she do this? We're still working on motive, but from what we can tell, it started after her boyfriend left her for someone he met through a rideshare app. She seems to have developed an obsession with the drivers after that, particularly ones who rebuffed her advances. The explanation felt simultaneously enlightening and wholly inadequate. How could such a small interaction, his simple refusal to join a passenger for a drink, spiral into this level of violation? In the days that followed, Andrew gave his formal statement. Cassandra Winters was charged with stalking, illegal surveillance, harassment, and a host of technical crimes related to the cameras. The case, Detective Reyes assured him, was solid. A week later, Andrew stood in his apartment, freshly swept for devices and declared clean by the police. Maya had helped him rearrange the furniture, paint the walls, and replace his bedding. Anything to make the space feel new, untainted. Still, as he prepared for his first night back home, Andrew couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. He checked behind pictures, inside vents behind his shower head, all the places where cameras had been hidden before. Nothing. His phone buzzed with a text from Maya, first night back home. You okay? Andrew typed back, getting there. He set his phone down and looked around the apartment. This place had been his sanctuary once. It could be again. He just needed time. As he settled into bed that night, Andrew made a decision. He wouldn't let fear dictate his life. Tomorrow he would return to driving. He would reclaim his routine, his independence, his sense of security. The cameras were gone. The stalker was in custody. Life would go on. But as he drifted towards sleep, Andrew couldn't help but check his closet one more time, peer under his bed, and glance at the corners of his ceiling, searching for the telltale glint of a lens that wasn't there. Trust, he realized, was like privacy. Once broken, it was nearly impossible to fully restore. But he would try, one day at a time. One night of undisturbed sleep after another, he would rebuild what had been taken from him. And tomorrow, when he picked up his first passenger, he would check the back seat carefully after they left, making sure nothing, and no one, was left behind.
It takes a lot of time to create these videos. I would really appreciate your support. All I ask for is a quick like on the video and subscribe. Thank you so much.